welcome back to my kitchen. In this episode, we're making homemade pasta. Yes, I'm gonna teach you how to make your own homemade pasta. It's really easy, takes very few ingredients, and it's even better when you make it with a group of people. Let's get started. Today's recipe is going to be pasta for two, but you can easily double, triple, or quadruple this recipe. The key is the ratio. So we're going to start with 90 grams of flour, which is about 3/4 of a cup. And we'll pour it onto a board or working surface and make a large well in the center. Then we're going to pour in 1 egg, and that's why you want to make sure that the well is large in the center so it doesn't ooze out. Then we're going to drizzle just a little tiny bit of olive oil, and this is just to your liking. It's just a tiny bit to moisten the dough. So I would say maybe even like a half a teaspoon, and a little sprinkle of salt. And now this is when you get your hands dirty. We're going to mix it up into a dough using our hands. Seriously, y'all, this recipe is so much fun to make with people. I've had dinner parties where we all stand around the kitchen island and make our own pasta, and I've also had friends make it with their family, and the kids are just so excited to get their hands dirty when making pasta together. Okay, now that we have it in a mass, we're going to knead it for 10 minutes. Yes, it's about 10 minutes. You'll get a good arm workout. But you'll knead it until it's in a nice smooth ball, and then we'll let it rest for 30 minutes. When you're finished kneading, you'll have a nice smooth round ball like this. Wrap it tightly in plastic wrap and let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes. Okay, the dough's been resting for 30 minutes, and now it's time to roll it out. I'm going to show you two different methods. I'll show you how to roll it out with a rolling pin, and then I'll also show you how to use a pasta machine. I love my pasta machine. It was under $50, and I posted a link in the description below to show you where I got it. But if you don't have one or you don't want to purchase one, I'll show you how to roll it out with a rolling pin, and we'll do that first. So we'll go ahead and take the plastic wrap off of the dough ball and place it on a floured counter. You're going to use a lot of flour here. Make sure you put the dough ball on both sides. Make sure you flour your rolling pin. Then we're going to press it into a disc and start rolling. Now you'll roll this pasta out until you can almost see your hand through the back when you put it underneath the dough. You want to make sure that you keep it thoroughly floured. Okay, you'll stop rolling the dough out when you can put your hand underneath the dough and almost see it. Also, if you can see the background of whatever you're rolling out on, so the surface, in this case I'm using granite so you can kind of start to see the granite, then it's thin enough. And just make sure that it's thoroughly coated in flour. That will keep it from sticking. Now we'll fold the dough twice in half. This makes it easier to cut. And taking a chef's knife, we'll slice it into fettuccine-sized noodles. Now that you have the pasta rolled out, you want to put it in a stock pot of hot boiling water. Make sure that you salt it well. I always like to say salty like the sea. Now that I've showed you how to roll out dough using a rolling pin, I'm going to show you a little bit of an easier method, which is to use my pasta machine. So we'll get started with flouring the dough ball pretty liberally. And then we'll cut it in half. Add a little bit more flour so it doesn't stick to the pasta machine. Press the dough into a disc. And now we're going to flour the pasta machine. You want to use lots of flour here so the dough doesn't stick at all. All right, I totally forgot to mention this when recording, but there's a dial on the side of the pasta machine. You'll start with the number 1 and you'll roll the dough through, and then you will adjust the setting on the side after you roll the dough through each time. So then it'll go through 2 and you roll it again, then it'll go through 3, roll it again, all the way until you get through 6 or 7, depending on the thickness of the pasta you desire. And that's when you'll stop the pasta rolling process. Okay, now that it's been through, we're going to add the attachment to cut it into fettuccine noodles. So you can use the knife, similar to the hand-rolled process that I just showed, but we're gonna use the attachment just to show you how much easier it could be. I'll start by cutting this in half. It's a little bit easier to manage since it's so thin going through the pasta machine. And then we will add the pasta attachment. So there's usually a spaghetti and a fettuccine attachment that comes with the machine. And it just slides on. And then you'll use the hand crank the same way to create the noodles. So the larger one is the fettuccine, smaller one is the spaghetti, and we'll just take the little handle that comes off and put it in the same slot as the fettuccine noodles. And this dough is really well floured. That's key so it doesn't stick. And magically, you have fettuccine noodles. So it's a lot easier to have the pasta machine, but it is definitely not required. Takes just a little bit more effort to do it on your own without the machine. Make sure that you use this fresh pasta within 2 to 4 hours of making it. If you're not putting it immediately in water, put it on a sheet pan and cover it with plastic wrap and keep it in your refrigerator. You do need to make it the day that it's made. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen as we made fresh homemade pasta. I bet it was a lot easier than you thought it was. Until next time, cook good food, share it with those that you love, and we'll see you soon. Now that you have the pasta cut out, you're gonna put it in a hot boiling Now that you have the pasta cut out, it's time to put it in a boiling vat of water.